Welcome to Africa Beyond Borders, the show that is your portal into authentic African experiences from all over the world. You are joined by your host, Ashwyn Mberi. Now, today we've got a very special guest. She is in Gdańsk, Poland, and her name is Tadiwanashe Stacey Mberi, also known as my sister. Welcome back to Africa Beyond Borders with Ashwyn Mberi. As I said, we've got a special guest today. She is in Gdańsk, Poland. Her name is Tadiwanashe Stacey Mberi, and she is my sister. Tadi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's very good to see you. It's obviously been a while. Last time I saw you, it was just before you actually left for Poland. And
Right.
yeah, just happy to have you on the show. And of course, as a brother, it's nice to get to know exactly what's going on that side. So let's get straight into it. What was it like first arriving in Poland? Were the people welcoming?
Yes, actually, they were very welcoming. I mean, at first, I did feel a little off edge because it's a new place. I don't know anyone and I'm completely new. But the moment I did get here, I managed to contact my agent and she got me an Uber from the airport and brought me to my apartment. And I have Polish housemates and they're actually very welcoming. Like, yeah, so loved it. Was a bit like it was like an adrenaline rush of some sort, but like the good kind. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Poland itself. What's the diversity like? Because I was a little worried about you going to Poland. I read the news a lot for a living, and as your brother, I had several reasons to worry. I hope you can allay my fears now. Tell me, what's the diversity like?
Well, Poland. It's so my city is so diverse to be honest. I think there should be about 4,000 people from Africa, not specifically from Zimbabwe, but from all over Africa. I think yeah, we're quite a lot and you bump into maybe three, four black people or some Indians. Like there you can see the mixture of culture, of different people, different races, and you wouldn't feel like you're in Poland. It just feels like you're in a country with like a like race country. I don't even know how to say that, but yeah, that's what it's like. And honest, it kind of makes you feel a bit better and not like you can't really stick out like a sore thumb because of that diversity. And it's so easy to adapt because of that diversity. It allows for you to feel less, um, you know, less, I don't know how to put it
Alone?
across. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make you feel alone.
So I
Like
assume,
for
I mean, of course, there's a lot of Zimbabweans like everywhere in the world. But I'm assuming that there's like a strong African population there as well.
yes, there is a very strong African population, especially in the capital city in Warsaw. Here in Gdansk, more or less significant. Like here and there, you'll see two, three African people, and then yeah. But in Warsaw, it's very much diluted. Like there's so many Africans there.
All right, okay. So where do you feel more comfortable, in Gdansk or in Warsaw?
I find I do find myself in Warsaw quite a lot because most of my friends are based in Warsaw. Um, but here in Gdansk, I do have just a few people that I can call my confidants. But yeah, I think if I were to pick, I would say Warsaw.
All right. Now, obviously, I know what you're studying, but tell the audience a bit about what you're actually doing in Poland.
O- Okay, so I'm actually currently studying nursing. I'm a nursing student here in Gdansk, and yeah, it's quite like it's such a an eye-opening experience,
Mm.
to be honest. I think that's how I can put it across. Learning about the human anatomy and people, and it's teaching me to be an empath of some sort, and yet still get things done. Like
Yeah. So I
that
mean,
thin line. Yeah,
I hear you. I
yeah,
hear you. It's just, for me, obviously, I've always, envisioned you as an artist, which you are. You definitely are. And
right.
I hope you'll let me share one of your clips singing over here. You've got an incredible voice and it's fantastic. So, what's that been like? Not necessarily spending as much time in the arts as you normally would have.
Well, I've been trying to like create a balance, an equilibrium of some sort, like because I know I'm an artsy person, but considering my studies, I'm not really forced, but I'm coerced more to try and be more analytical and like be more detailed in the way that I present myself. Because with nursing, you're gonna have a lot of tiny, minuscule details that you need to memorize about the body, because that's what it is. It's just learning about how the body functions and what happens when it doesn't function the way it's supposed to. So I've had to do that and then also try to focus on my creativity.
All right. So you know what? Now that you mentioned that, we'll take a quick break before we return and talk about your creativity and how you spend your time in Poland. Yeah, your brother needs to know.
Right.
You are still with Africa Beyond Borders, and I'm having an exciting conversation with a lady in Poland, Gdańsk, and her name is Tadiwanashe Stacey Mberi, my sister. Tadi, it's definitely good to have you here. Let's continue our conversation. I was just asking, what are you doing, to maintain your creative spark? And as your brother, I want to know, I'm very serious, how are you spending your time in Poland? Runyadzo itaseko.
Well, I'm not sure why that question triggered me, but it's okay. Um, I spend most of my time in nature, to be honest. I love the scenic views that Poland has to offer. It's got some very natural, beautiful scenes. So I try to travel as much as I can, like just explore, you know, what it does have to offer me. Like, for example, there's the Modbava River. Like it's kind of like in between in the city. It's like a river that flows through the city, but it's
Oh,
so huge.
wow.
It's huge. And I try my best to spend my time there, especially now that it's almost summer, it's spring, so it's not as cold as it used to be. So it kind of allows for me to be outside as much as I can and just soak in some sun when I do have the time. Because I think it's very important for me to de-stress from school sometimes, and that means just me being outside.
You being outside. I'll leave that there. I won't ask any more details about what outside means. But what, let's actually, speaking of outside, we could talk about the climate change. What's that been like? Because you spent the bulk of your life in Zimbabwe, and now you're in Poland, and I hear you talking about winter. It's sounding hectic.
Yeah, definitely. Climate change. In Poland, the thing is, it's not predictable. Like, you could see the weather report today and it's telling you, oh, it's going to be sunny. And it's not going to be sunny. If anything, it's going to be windy, and then the next minute it's snowing, and then maybe the sun will pop out just to remind us that it was supposed to be there today. But um, yeah, winter was bad because I left home when we were just leaving winter, and I came to the Polish winter. So that was me just transitioning into a different setting of winter, right? And the snow, it's so hectic. It's so hectic, and I understand why life is so gloomy during the winter season. Like,
So
It's so
how
bad.
do you fight the gloom? Like how do you tackle that gloom? Because it is a very hectic transition to go from Zimbabwean weather to Polish weather.
Okay, so when it comes to trying to cope that, with that sort of, seasonal change, I've noticed that during like the first few months of winter, my Polish housemates, they kind of tried to include me in everything. So that meant cooking, trying their Polish recipes, um, sometimes going to like swim in this heated pool, like close to where we stay, and ice skating, just trying to like remove my mind from how, you know,
Cold it is.
how, yeah, how cold it
Soul
is. And
sucking.
it's so draining. It's so draining.
I hear you. I hear you. Okay, so it's nice to hear that you have friends. That's fantastic. I'm assuming it's relatively easy to socialize that side or in your area.
Yes, actually, it's very easy because one thing I've noticed about Polish people, they're so open-minded. If anything, they're so curious and inquisitive to know and understand what our cultures are. So that kind of enlightens the entire interaction because they're trying to understand you and you're trying to understand them. You guys are trying to just like bond on a cultural level
All
per
right.
se. I'm not sure.
Something else
But
I
yeah.
noticed, I don't know, yeah, I don't know if I've put it in the positive or yet to be positive box, but I did notice you're spending a whole lot more time on TikTok, making TikToks, and I do enjoy your TikTok page. Of course, as your brother, every time I see a TikTok, I'm like, I hope she's studying. But it's like being in Poland is was that something that just made you want to be more expressive that way? Because on TikTok now you're accessing the global village, and of course your friends in Zimbabwe can see you a little more, and you're sharing your life experiences.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think a goal of mine when I did leave home was for me to be more expressive. And if I do ever decide to take up my artist journey when it comes to singing, I'm going to need a platform to display that. So I think it's very important for me to slowly grow my page. I think for now, I'm only on I think I should have about 700 followers on there. But isn't much content when I do start posting it. I'm happy to know that, like, of course it's a way for me to connect with people that are back at home. When they see me, they go, "Oh my gosh, Tadiwa, this is her." And then yeah, definitely, yeah, the growing community of people that are actually interested in associating themselves with me allows for me to also like grow my page from this end as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
guys, follow me on my TikTok. Oh,
I'll share your
yeah.
TikToks on this
Thank
very
you.
show. I definitely will. So, I mean, we're going to talk about home a little later, just the connection to home and if you miss home. But we're still, talking about Poland right now. Are you finding platforms for your creativity, like singing? Okay, are there stages or venues that are accessible to you?
Yes, actually. So, the fact that I kind of expose myself to my housemates and inform them that I can sing, um, at some point during someone's birthday, they asked me to perform. And it was so nice. It was cute. It wasn't really recorded because to them, they're just like, oh, we've got one of our friends and she's a singer. And then, because of this exposure that I've had to meeting different people, I have a Portuguese friend. Her name is Nelsa. She basically introduced me to one of her little almost DJ friends, producer friends, kind of. And I'm just playing around with that. Like sometimes he'll just give me a beat, and I have to, create something from that. And it actually kind of reminded me of how creative I am and that I'm actually still able to like write a song from scratch to the end. And yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, eventually I will take that up because he allows me to kind of like express myself as much as he would have like put in, given me a whole track to listen to and just play around with it. So that allows me to just tap into my creativity.
All
So I love
right.
that. Maybe you guys will be getting music soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Now, I need you to tell me, like, have you been consuming Polish arts? Polish music, movies, what's that like?
I think the thing with Poland, it's so inclusive to the point that you won't really feel that demarcation between you being only able to speak and watch things in English. Like literally our theaters decide the films, the movies are played in English with Polish translation. So it's like they've adapted to having us to the point where we don't need to feel like, oh, I'm so very much like intrigued. I have to learn Polish. Like you could stay in Poland and for 3 4 years straight without any need to learn
But
Polish.
what I want to know is like, what's their music like? What's Polish music like? And those movies, what are they like to you? Do you enjoy them?
One thing I've noticed, most of their movies are very nostalgic. They go back to their colonial era and when they were fighting the
Oh,
World
so much like
War.
Africans.
Yeah, so it's more of a constant replay and tweaking of, old movies and just that reminder of how far they've come as a nation. So, yeah, I watched them and it's like it's so very similar to us, but like they've completely embraced their suffering and freedom at the same time. So it's nice for me to I like watching their movies sometimes when I want to feel patriotic and everything. I'm definitely going to pull up a Polish movie. But their music, however, it's more of the I don't know, it's more of I don't know how to say it. It's more of the upbeat hip hop. They're very happy people. They like
Like pop.
to exactly, it's more of pop music, that's what it is. But it's very interesting because they find a way to integrate that with some artists. Like there's a festival coming up, and Georgia Smith is gonna be there,
Oh,
but
are you
so are
going?
most probably
Do I
because it's
have to
actually
send
in
you money for it?
Medina. Please, please.
Yeah, I figured. Okay. That's cool. It is nice because I know you've always liked Georgia Smith, so it is nice that you get to see her. Not nice to my wallet, but whatever. What's their food like?
No comment.
What?
I'm
What
joking.
do what
I'm
do you
joking.
mean? Okay, tell me about something that you've tried.
Um, I've tried some of their native dishes. One of them is called pierogi, and it's basically just a pastry filled with meat and veggies. And the good thing, one thing I've noticed is their appreciation for spices. So you'll go into a shop and you have a whole plethora of like spices. Like you would think that you're going to be eating bland food here,
That's not the
but
case.
no.
Maybe the
Exactly.
spice
So
keeps
I'm
them
really
warm.
happy, and yeah, so I'm very grateful for that because I don't need to stress about, oh, Ashwyn send me this spice from home because it's here. It's all here.
It's right there. All right. And outside from the Polish demographic and the African demographic, I think you mentioned a Portuguese friend somewhere in there. I assume you've also just been getting to meet a whole group of people you previously wouldn't have met.
That's very true. I've noticed that my friend group has diversified in ways I never expected. And I know I'm a social butterfly, but like, sometimes you do attract your tribe. Like you just find people that have the same interests as you. And one thing I've noticed that's very common amongst me and my friends, well, the diverse ones, because I've got Polish friends, I've got Ukrainian friends, I've got Portuguese friends, I've got like Nigerian friends, and it's like what brings us together really is the music and the almost sense of home that we get from spending time with each other,
All
because
right.
it's just, yeah, they're more, the relationships here are very authentic. Like, if you are going to say you have a friend, that's your friend for real.
All
So
right.
yeah,
I'll
I
keep
love
that.
that for
I'll
me.
keep that in. I like how you said, the way you guys meet up together feels like home, because in our last segment, it's going to be echoes of home, as we tie your experiences in Poland to your Zimbabwean experience. Stay with Africa Beyond Borders as I continue the chat with my sister, Tadiwanashe Stacey Mberi. Welcome back to Africa Beyond Borders. I have the headphones in for a reason, because I am currently chatting with my sister, Tadiwanashe Stacey Mberi, who is in Gdańsk, Poland. Tadiwa, are you good?
Yes,
All
very.
right, cool stuff. So now, echoes of home. How do you feel about being away from home? So, there's a difference about how you feel being in Poland. How does it feel being away from Zimbabwe?
um it feels, if you can feel the disconnect, you can feel the distance, that's for sure. And one thing I've noticed or heard from most of my Zim friends that are here, they are working their butts off to make sure that they go home for the holidays. They miss that, that connection to. And for me personally, during independence, we recently had our school tried to, make us feel some sense of home. You know, they did throw us like a Zim Fest themed event where we had our traditional cuisines. We had the
Oh,
sadza,
hey.
the makuru,
Did they
and
have
it was so
mtungandodori?
amazing. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is literally the closest thing I have to home. And I was like, I have to be there almost you know, every time when it's independence. I'm looking forward to going to school because I
Yeah.
know our school is going to throw something that's just a reminder. And we had our, the music. We got there, we're hearing Oliver Mtukudzi, and
Winky
then
D.
eventually Sabuku Vara Zip. And I'm like, where did
Classics.
these foolish people get our music from? We're like, where?
Where? That's really cool. I like that. Well, what would you say you miss the most about Zim?
I would say I miss the food more. I miss the food more because I don't know, there's just something about Zim food, man. The braai with the kovo and the sadza.
It's a
And
different
you
vibe.
know, yeah, and I used to fight with mama like when she'd say, oh, yeah, I don't know why you're trying to be like Ashwyn right now. You don't like Sada. And then fast forward, Ashwyn is here in the kitchen monitoring Sada. And
Hey,
I feel
you
that
know what it
that's
is.
going to be me.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that. And I think while you're back home, you tend to not really appreciate those things. And then once you leave home, I mean, me and Sadza, that, it's an everyday thing if I can have it that way. So it's really beautiful. I have to ask a tough question though. What do you not miss about Zimbabwe?
I do not miss how hectic it was to be like in the CBD. Like how unsafe it felt to walk during certain times of the day and just be, you know, a female. And I look at the this place, and I'm telling you, I will come from the gym at 11 p.m.
You know that just worries me
And
as your brother, but continue.
no, listen. come from the gym at 11 p.m. and you're not worried about what if I get mugged. That's you don't know how good that feels to have a sense of security in just being and not feeling like I'm having to check my bag if someone's following me. And it's quite sad how, to some degree we failed as not really as a country to just protect each other and not, in Zim that
In
is.
Zim, Ubuntu.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And plus,
so
I'm
it's
sure
one of the things
you
that
don't miss the fuel queues as well.
yeah, no,
It's one of those
no,
benefits. All right,
yeah.
Tadiwa, I am so grateful that I got to talk to you, not just because of Africa Beyond Borders, but because as your older brother, it's always good to know what's going on with you. And it's been lovely talking to you as you are in Poland, Gdańsk. I love you. I miss you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Love you.
All right. So that was my little sister, Tadiwanashe Stacey Mberi on Africa Beyond Borders, chatting about Poland, her experience in Gdańsk, and of course, a bit of a comparative analysis with Zimbabwe. From me, Ashwyn Mberi, I have to say, probably my favorite episode of all episodes on all shows. DSTV285, GoTV25, 1up2.com, Network Media Hub on YouTube, as well as NTV Africa is precisely where you can find us. This has been Africa Beyond Borders, your portal to authentic African experiences.